Good evening, everyone. I have Erika Barker here with me. And Erika, you can probably introduce yourself to our viewers.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Erika Barker. I am a veteran, former combat photographer in the U.S. Navy. And now I am pretty much a beauty photographer and retoucher here in New York City.
That's actually I think the main reason that you inspired me to create a series of interviews by telling me that you were in the Navy as a photographer for 5 years, which is pretty much insane to hear for regular person outside of the Navy world. Yeah, so that's pretty crazy. How did you get there?
Well, I originally was a graphic designer.
Okay.
Okay, I got my associate's degree in graphic design, and I didn't do too well because I was really young. I was really arrogant at the time. So I was watching Top Gun one night, and I was like, "Wow, I want to go in the military. This looks cool. I'm going to be playing volleyball and flying F-14s around all the time. This looks cool." Still, no aspiration to be a photographer at this moment. So I went to the recruiter. We talked. I originally wanted to go in as what they call a draftsman.
Yep.
However, we didn't have enough time for my portfolio because recruiters are a little tricky. They try to push you on things you're not quite ready for. Always read your paperwork, ladies and gentlemen.
Defined pretty like.
Yes, exactly. Basically, I went in as a lithographer because I was very comfortable with my Photoshop and graphic design skills. So yeah, I went to the Navy, and I was running a press room, doing just basic lithography, making copies, layouts, designs, and I was running a website at this time called battlefarm.com.
Okay.
And it was just basically a community where people would do Photoshop battles, and I would write tutorials on it as well. So I decided, because it seemed like a lot of people in the community in the Navy community, that is, did not quite grasp some Photoshop skills that were very strong, like what I was used to in the industry.
Yeah, it's I guess all film, people
so
don't know about Photoshop, so...
Yeah, so I wrote some tutorials, and I posted them on Battle Farm, and I also posted it on this little portal called Navy Knowledge Online, NKL. It's basically where all the Navy personnel go to update their information, do training, and so on. And the Master Chief of Combat Camera, Master Chief Reinhardt, he found the tutorials, and he was very impressed, and he wanted me to come to Combat Camera to train his old school, very salty film guys how to use Photoshop and bring them up to a digital level. So I ended up going to Combat Camera. Knew nothing about Nikon's DSLRs. I had a little Minolta Damage 5 at the time, and but yeah, I had no idea about changing lenses or anything, like all the settings, and they beat me over the head.
And I guess a few years later, when you are you discharged from the army?
No, Navy.
Navy. Sorry, I'm always confused. And what was the biggest thing, I guess, that you learned while being there?
The biggest thing that I learned while being there is telling a story. Because before, I just simply saw photography as taking a picture. Okay. My mentor, Bobby McCrill, he was one of the sailors who really banged me over the head, old school salty photojournalist. He looked at my portfolio of mountains and cars and rusty stop signs, and he's like, "Barker, I've got to tell you, this photography portfolio you showed me is not really good." Actually, he had a lot stronger words for it, Navy words for it.
Yeah, well, it's a family-friendly show, I guess.
So I won't say those words, but I was kind of like a little bit set back, and I was a little, offended, and I was like, "What do you mean these pictures are awesome? I think they're great." And he opened up a picture. He opened up a book, a National Geographic book, and he flipped it, and then he found this beautiful picture of this girl. She was crying, this little tiny girl, she was crying, and her home was destroyed in the background. And she was just like, absolutely in tears. And he's like, "You see that moment right there, this little girl crying? Only that photographer who took that picture will ever have this moment. That's a story that nobody throughout the course of time will ever have again. So that's a moment."
So what are the stories that you were trying to tell through your photos while being in the Navy?
Well, our job was to tell, basically to document information for intelligence and historical purposes. So it's not always that we are trying to
But
tell...
I guess like no promotional and marketing and...
Well, when we do typically like humanitarian missions or like goodwill missions or just we're trying to help out a community, maybe in Iraq or something like that. Yeah, that's more of a public relations thing. You're going to see a lot more of a photo essay applied to it. You know, your establishing shot, your mill shots, captions, and that's going to be the stuff that goes like to the Associated Press and to all the other media outlets. Yeah, for the intelligence stuff, it's just, you know, we're grabbing what we can, and intelligence folks over the Pentagon just analyze and make strategic decisions based on that.
Do you have to adjust your photography for the intelligence in the sense that you have to shoot it a little bit differently for them to make more sense of it?
In a way, yes. It's a little easy to get in the mindset like I want to capture an award-winning photograph.
Of course. Yeah.
But no, you got to think about what I've got to capture something that's going to give a strategy and give a benefit to our side and give a lot more perspective. So the picture may not look the best. It may not be that award-winning photo that you want. But you know, it's something to basically get the mission done correctly.
But I guess they're not always grim, and sometimes they are inspiring, and sometimes they are, you know, I guess bring a lot of hope for the humanity overall, right?
I think I understand your question. Like for the intelligence, okay. Well, the thing is, like, there's only a few people who see it. You know, it's, you know, of course us when we take it back, then our chain of command going up, and then they release it to this place called DIMOC, which is basically where Army, every single branch submits their photos, and from there they kind of send it up, and that's the last you ever hear of that photo. Okay. So maybe in 75 years you'll probably see.
So I guess you're like most photographers, you take a lot of photos and they end up always in archive without being published. So you never see them again.
There are a lot of photos, however, a lot of, you know, combat camera also sent me on humanitarian missions as well, and like on the USS Kearsarge. And that was the stuff that really went out to the press and was in the Associated Press. The stuff that our military was doing in Haiti to help rebuild Haiti after the hurricanes and the earthquake. That's the stuff that really makes our ducky quack. That's, you know, we just go out there, and that's when we want to capture an award-winning story and an award-winning photo.
There's a lot of photographers in Haiti, military-wise?
Well, usually what they do is they send us what they call like a joint task force. Okay. And that's basically maybe like everybody in the shop will be from all different branches, Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, and they'll all just work together. And they'll just send them out. They'll just send them out like they're just one big group. There's not like Air Force doing their thing. So. And
I guess it's hard for them to play along together.
Unless like maybe there's a combat photography military branch, or I'm sorry, combat photography unit from Canada, and we're doing like, you know, co-op with other countries. Yeah, you might see like some other photographers that you're not familiar with.
So, you know, going back to the, I guess, civil life, you are doing a little bit of fashion, and you're doing retouching, and you probably want to move a little bit away from the journalistic type of things. How does your experience affect your images these days?
Oh, okay. Well, my experience, how I bring like my photojournalism background into like maybe beauty photography, or into fashion, like maybe doing a fashion shot or a studio shot, is for one, I have this natural understanding now of what a natural expression looks like. I'm able to pretty much guide my subject into getting into more natural poses, and sometimes what I'll do is I don't have my models actually just sit there and pose. I have them like do like something like, I want you to spin around in a circle for me, and basically I'll just sort of continuous shutter.
Okay, I get it. You know, I ask people to jump because I think that it reveals their face.
And you get this much more natural shot. It's so much more intimate.
Okay, that's a good one. Well, thanks for the time.
Yeah, not a problem.
We're actually in Bryant Park in New York, and we set it up during the game USA-Portugal for the World Cup, so you can deduct the date that it was shot.
Estados Unidos.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks, Erika.
All right, thank you guys so much.